Alright, so just doing a little bit of a cleanup on the inside of the bus. Expecting rain, so with no windows I wanted to get things off the floor, especially things that will get extra rusty. And this will make it easier for us to get work done inside. Got that Harbor Freight cart assembled. It'll be cleaner than that. I'm just for right now trying to get things out of my way, but that'll eventually just be used as a job cart. You know, it'll have the tools that I need for the job at hand. It'll be useful, especially like with riveting when we put the skins on. Have all of our supplies sitting there, and I'm going to make it zip tie a power strip to it so that we always have multiple power outlets in our spot where we're working. So that should keep things clean and tidy and much easier and more organized and ultimately safer as we work inside the bus. So I'm expecting a metal delivery any minute now. I have bucket forks on the tractor, getting it warmed up here. So apparently it's on 2 pallets, which will make it easier. I won't be stressing out the tractor. But anyway, that's metal to reskin the bus that's going to be showing up here. Got the steel coming in here. Okay, so I got the steel delivered. The tractor struggled quite a bit with the process, but you know, steel's delivered, they're about to take off. So at this point I'm going to prime metal. That's today's agenda. So what I'm using to clean the metal is some virgin mineral spirits. Just a little bit per sheet. I dribble some on, then wipe it, and then I use a more clean rag to do the second pass and absorb them, then I sand. So this is sanding with 320 grit. You can use steel wool as well, but just to get the primer to adhere to the metal better, I'm making fine little abrasions with the sandpaper. Alright, so right now what I'm doing is I use some mineral spirits to clean up my sheet metal, and I'm running some alkyd primer. This is tractor primer. After I sanded the metal, I got the mineral spirits to get the oils off of it, then I wiped it with a clean cloth, and now I'm just putting this gray primer on. Just a reasonable coat to keep the rust from forming while we're working on the roof, or on the reskinning of the bus after the roof was raised. So just trying to get this metal prepped. Got 7 sheets of the big size and 2 sheets of standard size 4x8. So 7 of 5x10, 2 of 4x8. I got to get at least one side of it all painted. I'm not as concerned if the inside gets a little rust. I can always spray some rust inhibiting paint on the inside. So I'm not even going to take the oil off that side. But I will prime this side, let it dry, and then we'll use it that way. This side will face up. I'm going to stack them with little wooden cubes on the skid that they were delivered on. So it's nice to have a pavilion to work on with a roof. That's very helpful. So I think I'm just about done with this first sheet. And after this, 6 more to go. Well, I'm sorry. 6 more of the big ones, and then an additional 2. So 8 more to go. Hope I have enough paint. It's about 50 bucks a gallon. Alright, so I don't have enough space under the roof to do all the sheets at the same time, or enough tarps to protect the pavers from getting painted. So what I did is I cut up some 2x4 and I set these on as spacers. I mean, the primer will get scuffed up a little bit where they're setting, but the whole idea here is not a finished paint job, but to prevent rust, so that I can get these sheets up on the bus without them getting all rusty. So hopefully this will be effective. So what I'm doing is I'm cleaning and sanding over here, and then the first sheet I painted before I put it on there, that was a mistake. It was hard to move for obvious reasons with slippery paint, so I'm going to paint them after I lay them on top of each other on the blocks. I may also use some of this angle iron similar to those blocks, since it's here. Doesn't hurt it to get a little primer on it. So anyhow, that's what I'm doing here to get the primer on the metal. Okay, so I got the second one painted. This seems to be the right way to go about the job. So on to the next here. Okay, so that's 3 sheets painted, and I went and hurt myself a little bit. The sheet came down on my leg and scratched me up pretty good, so little bruise and abrasion. Anyhow, I knew I'd bleed on this project. Okay, that's 5 sheets. I think I'm going to tackle the rest of them tomorrow. My light's fading, and I got to get home for dinner. So we had been pretty fortunate so far for the winter, but I came back to paint, and all of a sudden this sleet just kicks up. I was trying to finish painting sheet metal. There was a light sprinkle, and then this sleety crap just started coming down. So I had to come in the bus and make sure everything was covered up here. After today, I'm actually going on a little trip for a few days, so there'll be a pause in activity for the weekend. But anyhow, yeah, quite a bit of sleet there. Sort of blew in through the window. Okay, so I've got the 6th one dried off and sanded after the rain and sleet kind of came through. You can still see it on that sheet probably. A little bit on the corner, but that one's of course already painted. So we'll get this one painted now. Hopefully the weather doesn't blow any more water into the pavilion. Okay, so that one's the 6th one painted. I got 1 more big sheet, I believe, and 2 of the smaller ones, so hopefully it'll be done soon. Got to get some blocks to lay on that one. Okay, now the 7th sheet's done. Now I have these 2 4x8 sheets to paint, and I'll be done with the one side of everything. Okay, so that is the 8th sheet of metal painted. I got 1 more small one to go. And that's the 9th sheet right there, so I'm done priming the one side of this stuff. That was a real pain. It's very hard to move these sheets. They're very flexible, at least with one person anyway. Alright, so I was at the metal yard getting a few odds and ends that I needed, and in addition to ramps, aluminum ramps I was able to get yesterday for pennies on the dollar, which will become a deck, I think. I'm looking at maybe making them a deck or slide out storage in the bay. I was able to find this 12-foot tall ladder system made out of aluminum. Only thing wrong with it is the hardware is rusty because they used some steel fasteners, but I got this for 50 bucks, believe it or not. And this will help me not only get the sheets on the side of the bus, but later, if I want to, I could cut it up and make steps for entry and exit from the side door of the bus. I saw another YouTuber do that. Nap Time, that's the name of the channel. They made theirs out of a truck ramp in aluminum, but lucky find here for only 50 bucks. It's going to serve multiple purposes, I think. Alright, so here I have my $50 metal yard find of the used ladder right next to the bus. Call that serendipity. That is pretty amazing to be able to get that kind of a tool to do this project for only 50 bucks. And I'll be able to use it if I wanted to build stairs easily for that door. Although it's such a nice tool, I don't know that I want to cut it up and turn it into something else. Somebody else will probably get just the same kind of use out of it that I am, or my brother might even just want to keep it on the property. It does need some new nuts and bolts, but that's easy to do.